Welcome back to Bayona's RC World, and today, just a quick video. Just want to showcase a little bit of my baggage hatch here on the top Flite Cessna 182, but mainly just to show how I did certain things. Other than that, maybe it can help somebody out there who is looking at doing something similar. But other than that, real simple, very quick, not much. Just trying to be informative and trying to give back. All right, so stay tuned, sit back, relax. Real short video. All right. All right, so basically, like I said, real short video just to showcase basically the baggage hatch here on the top Flite Cessna 182, but mainly not necessarily have to be the top Flite Cessna 182. Could be pretty much any hatch that you guys are trying to make. All right, so the hinges here, most of the time we tend to go online and look for expensive hinges or hinges that are already made, that's fine. But sometimes they don't work for the application that you're trying to do. Sometimes they need to be custom made. So if you have a 3D printer, that would be the best thing to do, to 3D print your own parts. But unfortunately, I do not have a 3D printer, so I had to make my own hinges out of 1/16 ply, doubled up. So that's pretty much my hinge right there, you see. And then it's on a block, and it's just pivoting right there on that block. So if you can see on the screw, I mean. All right, but it's real simple. It had to be custom made because of the curvature of the fuselage. All right, so if one was a little longer than the other in a given sense. All right, so that's how I did this part right there. So that I did my own custom hinges on this door latch. All right, now if you guys are doing the Cessna 182 that's by Top Flite, and you're trying to do the cut out the baggage door to do the same thing, and mainly I'm using this area to hide my power switches or even my light switches. Like I said, depends on what kind of lights I purchase, if it's programmable or if it's just the typical switch type. Then I would just use hit the switch in here to turn the lights on. Other than that, or I can have the switch activated by a servo internally, but that's really, well, we'll see what we do there. But other than that, that's the main reason why I wanted to open up this area of the fuse. Also kind of gives it that scale look when it's on display. But other than that, it's mainly just to hide my switches, and that's the main goal for this portion of the this build. So if you have the Top Flite Cessna 182 and you decide to do the same thing, just got to remember that when you cut this out, you're also cutting into the main former, the main stringers and substringers, and also right before the in between the formers. So you got to kind of strengthen up the area. So in my sense here, there's a little bit of light ply and basswood here, basically bridging that opening. All right, and it also acts as a box to house my electronics. All right, so I took away by cutting into those stringers, but I also reinforced everything. All right, so if you can see right here, I did not relocate my control rod. My control rod is still in the same location. I just basically put two pieces of ply sandwiching it, kind of bridge it from one end to the other. Also gives it additional strength. All right, but other than that, I made the doors the original piece that I cut out. All right, but before I open up the before I actually cut the whole door off, I made some formers mimicking basically former F4, if I'm not mistaken. So I basically used the die cut sheets that I pulled this out of, and I used it as a template to make additional formers for the door. So once I marked the door and cut it out, I placed these formers there and glued it. That way it keeps the shape of the door and it doesn't open back up, and that way the shape of the door remains, and hence you still get the proper curve. All right, so that's what I did there. So I made my own door hinges. I also made my own latch, my locking mechanism. All right, I did a little short mock right here, and this is exactly how I did my locking mechanism. Thanks to one of my models that I had before, which is the Hanger 9 Super Decathlon. The window latch and also the main door latch is exactly like this. All right, so it's simple. It's just a pen spring, a small wheel collar or a collar, and then your typical control rod or any wire that you got laying around. All right, and so that's pretty much how we got it. So when you toggle the switch or the door latch, you can lock and unlock. All right, so take a look at that again. So it's pretty much like that, and this thing is locked in because when you're assembling something like this, you have to make sure you got your opening and your rod inside that little piece of ply, right? And then feed the wire through the hole through your door, and then glue this down as one piece. It's going to be very difficult to glue this and then try to stick your wire through and then your spring and all that stuff and try to get the wire into that groove unless you feed it upwards. But it is what it is, and that's pretty much how I got it. So that's my little door latch, as you can see right here. That's exactly the same thing I got. Alright, and it works perfectly, and just made a little hole on the other side. Alright, and so you just close it and it locks, and it has a lot of tension on there, so it's not gonna pop open. I was gonna use magnets, but sometimes it's a pain in the rear to pull open, so the lock latch thing made a little bit more sense. Alright, so that's pretty much what I got here, just like that. And if you are doing the Flite Cessna and you do your hinges and you try to open up your door, it's going to start binding right here at this end, and you won't be able to open up the door completely. It's going to stop about right here, like this. It's going to stop and it's going to just basically be binding right here. And so how I got it where it's just a smooth transition, alright, in the inside portion right here, you can see this door lip right here. I beveled it for maybe a good 30 degrees, just beveled inwards, right? And then I took a piece of sandpaper and I shoved it in between the door like this. Kind of trying to do this with one hand. So I shoved it in between the door and the frame, and basically opened and closed it. And it basically what it's doing, it's sanding the portion of the door. But for the most of the work, I actually beveled the inner portion of this door. If you can see, I don't know if you can see it right there, but it's also beveled. right there. All right, so I got the door is beveled, and also this is beveled to try to minimize the binding during opening. All right, I still got a little bit right about here, so I'm still gonna work on it. This I just did this last night, so I still gotta fine tune it. So it's still a work in progress as well on my end. All right, but yep, that's pretty much it. So hopefully that helps out somebody out there. If you are going to build the top Flite Cessna 182, or you're trying to do a hatch and stuff like that, you don't necessarily have to go buy yourself hinges. You can make your own, and these are 1/16 ply, light ply. All right, it's also known as a what is that thing called? Mabuchi wood or something. Don't quote me on that, but it's something like this, real thin. All right, very thin. It's good for sheeting of foam wings and stuff like that. So that's basically the ply that I got. And if you ever built a ultimate or a extra 300, the actual sheeting for the turtle deck, that's exactly what I used. All right, so this is the turtle deck residue off of the extra 300. So that is the ply. So basically I just cut my own hinges out of this, and then I doubled it up and glued it together, and that's basically what I got right there, my hinge. All right, that way I can tailor it and cut it exactly how I need it. And to get it to this stage here, that was multiple tries, different patterns, just to get it right. So that's what I got. All right, so that's about it, guys. Thank you for tuning in again here on Bayona's RC World, and stay tuned for part 9 on the finishing of the top Flite Cessna 182. Shoo shoo.